and the founder of Empowered Clothing. I empower women over 50 to create a conscious and intentional lifestyle on my show, Finding Your Way with Sally Estlin. Hi everyone, it's Sally. I'm a content creator and a holistically fit specialist. I share authentic and everyday issues for women over 50. So you can learn more about my fashion products and services at empoweredclothing.com.au. So today I'm very excited because it's a topic that I really love. We're talking about how to elevate your consciousness with our featured guest, Nicole Thibodeau. And I'm so excited to have Nicole here. We've been working together for a few years and she's just a whole level of awesomeness. So before I bring her up, I thought I'd just give a little introduction. So Nicole is a channeler, a mentor and author of Back to Love Again, a giver's guide to reconnect with your inner strength. And I'm really excited to talk about her book. She supports gentle souls who are answering their soul's calling to open their hearts and connect deeply to their divine self so that they receive more clarity, balance, and harmony in their lives. She uses tools, guidance, and a supportive space, and she helps them integrate and bring back the higher frequencies of the divine blueprint of their soul and higher self. So, without further ado, let me just bring up Nicole and introduce her. Let me just find you out of the green room. Here we go. So, let me just get this one off. There we go. Welcome, Nicole. Thanks so much for being a guest on our show today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I really admire you because you just are such an authentic, awesome person and so divinely connected. Let's talk a little bit about you and how about your connection.
Well, I think I was born that way. Actually, we're all born that way, connected. Some
Good.
of us, it stays very clear, others, it doesn't. Sometimes it just fades a little bit and then it comes back. So for
Hmm.
me, it probably faded for a while, but it was needed at the same time. And later on, it started to come back very strongly. Then, events happened and I closed it up. And then after my father talked to me a little bit about closing down to my own inner gifts, that, it was actually denying myself. And I accepted on my own terms what I would open up and what I wouldn't for a while. And then, well, I've always been guided and allowed that guidance to come through. So that's how life has been for me on that.
Mm. A lot about following that path is letting go, right? Letting go and just allowing the energy to flow through you. And, it's at the beginning, it feels really weird and it's a funny process, isn't it? But it really is about just giving up to the divine, right? And just following that energy.
Yeah, it is, but yeah, it is very hard, especially when you're a perfectionist and you lose control. So
Um,
this is what makes it very difficult sometimes because with the life I've had, I mean, I had to be aware what was going on and just prevent certain things from happening, or so I had to have a certain control on many events to prevent some. And giving away it felt like I was giving away my power when actually I was empowering myself to dig deep within me to the
mm.
most sacred part of myself and receive those answers that I so longed for.
Mm. So your sort of title is an Oracle of Divine Transmission. I just love that title. Like, talk to me about that.
Well, for me, the Oracle of Divine Transmissions, it's because I cannot say that I channel Archangel Michael or I channel Divine Mother or, just a specific being, because I work with a myriad of them. And depending of what I'm doing, and my saying usually when I work with them, if I have a problem in something, I will say, please send me the expert in the matter. So I suppose it is part of my path of channeling, but not just being one being only. It's many of them. And It's mostly to receive healing activations. I'm not a forecaster, so I don't
Mm.
forecast anything. And it's really to help people and guide people into their deep journey of transformation.
Yeah, I love it. So when you're channeling, talk to me about that process, like how you get into that state and how you call it in, and what goes through you, what happens in your body.
When I do that now, it's much easier than in the beginning. In the beginning, I had to tell my mind to take a vacation.
Yeah, it's the mind, get it out of the way, right? Yeah.
You can sit there and observe, but do not do not intervene. But yeah, I just, when you sit down and you just take a deep breath and you feel like you're settling in your body, and you
Hmm.
just like sit down and it just comes in alignment. So that's what it feels like. It's just like, and suddenly I can let go and I completely surrender and I begin to receive. But I take the time to connect deeply to the earth and to source, God, goddess, and open my channel so I may receive what is of the highest for that person that I work with or for myself. And even when I wrote the book,
Yeah,
that was the process.
such a divine gift. So let's talk about your book. It's Back to Love Again, a giver's guide to reconnect with your inner strength. Have you got it there? Let's have a look at the cover. Right. So let's talk about the book. What inspired you to write this? And yeah, what's it all about?
About 10 years ago, I received the
Wow.
title. Yep. And I thought it was pretty funny because I said, I'm no writer.
Yeah.
And it stayed at that for a while. Sometimes you receive a message, but it doesn't mean that it's going to happen just right away.
Yeah.
You never know when in time, because in the universe, there is no time. Only us, we have this linear time. So
True.
it stayed like that for quite some years. And then um, someone was put on my path to help me to write the book. And through her program, I started writing the book. And she was aligned into what I was doing. The way she was doing her process, I was completely aligned with me. So I started writing that. It's quite a process because in my mind, the book would be only channeling messages and creating the artwork that I have in it, which are codes of light, and they help to release any energy, unresolved energy, I would say, so you can integrate the new ones. But then I received that I was to write a little bit of my story to help people to understand what I was bringing, and that, where understand where I came from and why this works at the same time, and to help them, believe in themselves that things can happen for them also, that they can clear those old old stuff that's been lingering there and just holding you back.
Mm. Yeah, it's fantastic. So, and how can you get hold of your book?
Well, you can find it easily on Amazon,
Okay.
and there are other bookstores that have it. I know here in America or Canada, it's Indigo that have it in chapters, I think. But
Hmm.
Amazon is the easiest one for everyone.
Yeah, I just love it. Back to love again, because that's what life is all about, tapping into that love, right? That unconditional love inside.
Yeah, well, it's easy to lose ourselves. And back
Mm.
to love again, it's not loving somebody else. It's coming back to that deep divine love that is within us, and that
Yeah.
we haven't learned to tap into, and really connecting deeply to ourselves, and to discover that this is our most um, greatest inner strength, is that
Oh,
love.
oh, totally, totally is. So our topic today is how to elevate your consciousness. What's a good tip that you could share with someone about how to elevate your consciousness?
It's to go within. I know it's cliche to say it,
It is so
but
true. It's an inside job, right? And it's
yeah.
there's not much more than we can say, but you have to do the inside work.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like I always say, it's not for you to go up. It's for you to bring all these energies down through you.
Mm,
And it's also important to work with your lower chakras to really help to release and open up the lower
mm,
chakras. So all the beautiful energies that you're trying to tap into or that you're receiving have room to integrate through you.
mm. It's so true because it's the lower chakras that get really blocked, and it stops the channel, right? And it's people don't realize that we have to work on unblocking and balancing all of them, but it's the lower ones that really get very stuck in the mud, so to speak, particularly the
Well,
base.
absolutely. They're the ones closest to the earth realm. So that's why,
Mm,
it's a different way of working, and they take up on, they're integrated, those energies that are unresolved. They attach more easily into the lower chakras than they would into the higher chakras because they're in
mhm,
more subtle energies. So
mhm.
that's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's sort of kind of like a weighting, and it's a pull, and yeah, it's kind of gravity in some ways, I think. So today you've brought along an empowerment share. My deep connection to God, my guides and the angels have been my greatest support in life. So we kind of touched on that a little bit. Do you want to expand on that?
Well, sometimes when you don't want to say something to anyone because,
You don't want to hurt them, offend, and whatever. Yeah.
or just because you don't feel safe to share. So
Hmm.
this is the best way, is creating that space with your guides and just have an open heart conversation,
Mm-hmm.
because it helps you to get it out, to acknowledge what is there. And acknowledging something is the first thing, and releasing something. You have to acknowledge it, embrace it. It's, you know, recognizing it on a deeper level, and then you let it go. And when you start doing that, it begins to happen more and more often. Sometimes just like you feel like you've opened this Pandora box and everything wants to come out at the same time. But
Yeah.
not to worry. You have your guides with you, your angels or God, anyone that you feel safe and deeply connected to, and you feel like it's your greatest friend, that you would say anything and you know that they won't judge you. You're never judged by them. They understand, they know that you have your free will, they know that you are living through this. And even myself, sometimes when I talk to them, I say, hey, listen, do you remember that I'm the one that has both feet on this earth and I'm limited on certain things?
Yeah. I love it because it really is, there's no judgment, and they're just there. That's the unconditional love where there's no conditions on it. They're there to support and guide you through life, and having that honest heart and just being honest. You can't beat that genuine support, that genuine messages, that genuine guidance. It's just a whole other level. It's like having a best friend that you could just be completely honest with, and just saying, what shall I do, or where do I go, or what do you suggest that I should be doing? And it is like um, an intangible friend. I mean, it's just an energetic friend that's around you all the time. Because as you say, you can't change what you don't know. So, acknowledging and having that awakening, that awareness, and being guided with that. But it's like you're so gifted. It would just be so wonderful to be able to have that connection to, like, Archangel Michael. Like, he's like a demigod in my eyes,
But that's easy. When you sit down and you meditate, you just call upon him and ask him to help you to recognize his frequency, his energy. And you talk to him, and after a while, you'll recognize when he's coming. And
I know. Look, I am. It's something that's new to me, and I'm starting with the dragons, and I'm starting, with the work that we do. We're calling in the angels and the guides and things, but it's taking it to that next level and saying, I think it's just my scaredy pants, and I need to step it up. It's probably what you went through a long time ago, and going, oh man, can I really do this? And it's just having the courage to, you know, to get in. Big toe in, all in.
yeah, and like it was said before, um it's not them that we fear, it's our own power.
Yeah, I know.
And it's the unknown. So you're stepping into something that you really don't know anything about, or people around you don't know about. we fear to be judged or ridiculed, or, name it. And then you start comparing yourself with others. I know I've been there. And then you realize that there's no comparison to be had, because we
Yeah.
each hold a different frequency.
Mhm.
So we cannot, we've been working together for certain things for a few years, but we don't work the same way because we don't tap in the same frequency. We
Mm.
each have a different one, and we bring to each other. So, this is what my dream is for all the light workers to come together and just embrace that even though we all talk to Archangel Michael, because we've been talking about him today, we'll bring it in a different way, but the message in the end is all the same, what he's bringing through. It's not, no, you're right, no, you're wrong, or there's nothing like that. Is you do what feels good for you, and you don't bring anyone down, and you don't put anyone else on pedestal. You are you. And when you tap into this deep, deep uh, divine energy within you, then, because today we're talking about higher consciousness. So for you to tap into it, you go deeper into your heart.
Mm. Mm. I love it because the way forward in this big quantum shift that we're doing, it's all about the collective and bringing individual differences in together and combining all of our different frequencies as a collective. And it's just, as we talk about in Activator that we do, it's we're all singing the one song, and it's the universe. So we're all just different instruments playing in the one orchestra with the same song. And that's the beauty of where we're going. And it's that combined collective energy together, and it's just so powerful and so beautiful, and you can just feel the love within it when it's just on that, when everyone's in tune playing the song. It's a pretty amazing, isn't it? It's just I'm really looking forward to where we're going next year, because this year has been challenging, and I don't think next year will be a smooth ride by any stretch, but it's going to be starting to create a better tune, if you like.
Yeah, and it's important that everyone finds their own way of
Mm,
connecting deeply.
mm,
What you were saying about being in unity is reminded me of something I heard from Dr. Len in Ho'oponopono. That when you go and work, and why you say you're not sorry
mm,
because, oh, I feel bad for you, or because you had this within you. Is, I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge you.
yeah.
And so, Ho'oponopono is also something that is like a collective. You work on that. It's part of the collective. So therefore, again, we acknowledge, embrace, and let go.
I
But then,
love that. I love that. Ho'oponopono is "I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you."
absolutely, yeah.
And it's just so powerful. It's just so powerful, and if anyone hasn't heard of it, I encourage you to do a little bit of research into the story about the guy and how he turned around this, was it a mental asylum or something, and the inmates
It
or
was in prison, but it
yeah.
was the mental department of that prison.
Yeah, and so he just went in every day and he put his hand on the files. He actually didn't see the people in person, but he sat there, just kept going over doing Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And it was just cutting the cords of the old limiting beliefs, linking into each of the people and all their stories, and just energetically just letting that go and bring them back to the present moment, letting all of that past stuff go. And in the end, they started to improve and improve and improve. And ultimately, I think they actually shut down that ward because everyone had improved themselves and that they left the facility. Like, it was amazing. So, energetically cutting cords of the past and bringing them back, like, so powerful. Yeah, it's such a, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
and
so many.
for me, who's not a confrontational person, I don't like confrontation, so it works well for me, working this way. I have another way that I do it also, and we talked about it working with the pyramid of light that Archangel Michael had taught through Rana
Yeah.
Herman Zane. And I mean, every time there was a conflict, so many times that I go into that pyramid of light to work with that person or with that situation, and just to call in what was the best energies to receive to resolve this for the highest good of everyone involved, and just not leaving my limited understanding and wishing of results.
Yeah.
Just letting go again. It's letting go of that and just opening yourself to receive something that is in a higher frequency.
Oh, amazing. We should talk about the pyramid of light just for a minute. Like, you introduced that to me probably about a month ago and did some healing for my son, and it was so powerful. It was like, sitting at the high table, if you like, but on a different level, and calling, because pyramids are so powerful. So, do you want to talk about the pyramid of light just very briefly? But it was just so powerful.
Well, the pyramid of light is something that Archangel Michael taught through Rona Herman Vizaine. And you have your personal one, but the one you're talking about is the work pyramid. And
Hmm.
this is where you meet the people, but you work from the next level. You call in their higher selves. So you're calling in your higher self and their higher selves, and they're the ones that resolves the problem. Actually,
Yeah.
they're there to receive whatever you put everything there, and whatever is going on is taken care of. It's energized, transmuted, and then it's the higher selves that will bring the higher frequencies of resolution for everyone involved, for the greatest good of all. And you don't have anything to do. You just call in what is of the highest for everyone. Actually, you can do that in every meditation or any prayer or any way that you do the work you do that helps you to connect deeply within. Always call in for the highest good of all.
Mm. It's, what I love is that you're making it so easy to understand, Nicole, because, for a lot of people, higher self, oh my gosh, that sounds like really confusing. But, it's just working on that level. Once you get your head around that there's just a higher level that you're working with, and it's like bringing them all into a meeting room, all your higher selves, and go, right, put all your shit on the table and let's sort it out. And it's as simple as that. And you're doing it in a safe place, in this pyramid of light. And, once you take that first step and go, right, just allow yourself to be open to understanding, then it is quite simple. And I think what you've been doing is today is helping us normalize this next level of energy, working with energy and with your higher self and with your soul. It's soul work, and making it not so scary. So thank you for breaking down those barriers today for me. That's really cool. So today you brought along a tip. So your tip is taking back my power I had scattered around through life and giving back to others what belonged to them was the best way to free yourself from many difficult situations and relationships. And I think we've touched on this a little bit. Do you want to expand on this?
Well, when you hold a grudge, is kind of giving some of your power away to that person,
Yeah.
or the situation. And when you say yes to somebody, and when you wanted to say no, and in many different ways that you give our power away, we allow other people to make a decision on our behalf when we don't want to. So it's calling that in when you go to bed at night. Just make it simple and just ask your higher self to help you to bring back your power
Mm.
and give back to the others all the power you might have taken from others unknowingly, if that's it, if that is, sorry, that's the case. Then, because sometimes we do it, but we don't realize we do it. So you do that at night when you go to bed, and you ask for the violet flame to come and blaze through everything that you might have hurt somebody unknowingly again, or because I don't think a lot of people do it knowingly and just wanting to
Mm.
hurt others. But it,
Mm.
it may happen that sometimes we said something, but it's only months down the road that you learn that it hurt the person. So
Mm.
so you do that every night, and then you start receiving your power back, and everything that belongs to you comes back to you. You're taking ownership and you're taking responsibility for your own stuff. So
I
that's
love it.
what calling your power back means.
Yeah, ownership and responsibility. I think that's been a really big theme this year. It's just owning our stuff. I've got to call you the higher self queen. You really are, because you're helping people understand in a more normal way. Because to a lot of people, it's kind of woo-woo, or it's too existential, can't understand it, but you're just normalizing it. And I think the more you can get this message out and help people do it, because energy, what is it, Albert Einstein or whatever, you can't create or destroy energy, but you can just transform it, right? So transmuting into the purple flame. And a lot of people don't understand, but it's once you get that understanding, that's what you can take out the bad stuff, stick it in there, and it can be sorted out somewhere else. And that's basically what you're doing when you're putting it into the purple flame.
Well, it's sorted at another level, so it's not tinted with the 3D or the earth level with, limits and all that. So that's why when you call in your higher self, is your divine self, well, they're in the higher levels of
Yeah.
energy. So
Not
they're not connected to the polarities. Sorry, that's
yeah.
the word I'm looking for.
Well, it's just that boring old earthly plain stuff, right? It's the day-to-day stuff that we worry about as we're grounded here on the earth. But when you're dealing up here, they go, "Oh, you guys, you carry on about so much stuff down there."
And yet, at the same time, I love to say that we're divine humans, all one
Yeah,
word.
I love
So we're
that.
divine beings in human form, and if we
Mm.
can't deny that we are humans. And I always trust that when I'm busy having my human tantrums, that my higher self is holding me and
Yeah,
just giving me the space I need to have that, and then I'll come back to my senses and say, okay, well, now today I feel better and I can connect. So it's just, you have to cut yourself some slack, because
absolutely.
it's not perfect every day, but the connection is not lost.
Yeah, I
Even though
love that.
you
I like to sorry, I like to say that we're perfectly imperfect, and you're absolutely spot on. I say we're spiritual beings living on this human plane, so we're trying to navigate on our golden thread, on our divine path, whatever, but navigating the earthly challenges every day, and that's just part of what life is. And divine humans we absolutely are. So it's just like, and as you say, give ourselves some slack. Don't be so hard on ourselves. Stop the judgment and the criticism, because we're doing the best that we can in the moment. And of course, we all muck up, and it's like, yeah, don't beat yourself up too badly, because everything is energy. And I always bang on about the thoughts and our words, the things we say in our head, you wouldn't say to your worst enemy. Stop beating yourself up, because it's just so powerful, the implications of that. So just be more forgiving and more loving to ourselves, because love is what it's all about, as you say in your book, right?
exactly. I was just about to say, well, that's why you do this.
Back to love again. Is that on Audible yet, or is it just
No,
on Amazon? Well, you
yeah, it's
should
all
do it. And we should mention where you're living in Canada, and it's such a beautiful spot.
yeah, it is. But today it's very rainy, but it's still beautiful.
Well, you've
So
just had some snow
just
recently.
wanted to share with you and people that are listening that the art I'm talking about. Okay, I'll get this.
Oh, wow, cool.
This is one of them. So those are channeled, and they have high frequencies in them. So this is what you're working with. The book is not just about my story. My story just helps you to understand a few things. But why am I writing about fear in one of the chapters? Is how I grew up in fear, but the real work is all the guided meditations that are in the book. Those are the tools that you have for yourself to help yourself to release the fear, let go of it, and to receive higher frequencies that will help you navigate through the fear, and use the fear as being something that will help you to navigate life. And different, is it a big fear, a small fear, you know how you're going to react to that, and it helps you to navigate life. So those are the tools, and just the images for some people. I used to have a client, she was so lovely, and she told me she had done my year-long program, and she said, you know I love your work, because working with those images, all I have to do is sing the mantra, because she said, I'm not very big on doing all kinds of work, but for you, with you, it's just I sing the mantras and the work gets done just the same. So I love it.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, because fear is such a big hurdle for people. It's a thing that stops people creating change in their life. I was only chatting to someone yesterday, and the younger people, it's just like, oh, their fear of, taking the next step, stepping into their power. And, life's too short. And with the quickening that's happening at the moment, it's most important to overcome the fears and the things holding you back. So, oh, that book is so powerful. It's such a powerful tool. And I didn't realize you had the frequency things in there. So I'm definitely going to get a copy. And it's interesting. Is French your first language or English?
French.
French. So did you publish in French as well, or just English for
No,
the
not
mainstream?
yet. Not
Yeah,
yet.
yeah,
Because the lady that I worked with, well, she was in the States.
right.
So, if I wanted somebody to edit my book, needed someone that could understand what I was writing. So I wrote it in
Yeah.
English.
Yeah, no, it's such a powerful book. I'm definitely going to jump on Amazon straight after this and purchase that, because just even flicking it open, whatever page you open on will be a message that will be relevant to you for that day. It's just
Yeah.
like reading your cards. You can never open in a wrong spot. It's the message that you need to be taking on, or it might be the picture or the frequency that's coming out. Oh, I just love it, because the future is frequency medicine, right? It is. We are stepping more and more powerfully into the medicine of frequency. It's just so healing. It's taking us up to that higher level and overcoming all the other earthly stuff that keeps us bound. So, I've studied in naturopathy and homeopathy, and I was really drawn to homeopathy because of the frequency within the medicine. But using frequency themselves this year has been whole other level, whole other level. So,
Yeah. So you have that in those, like, as well as when I do my meditations every month, I I use the light language, and the light language has high frequency. It helps to elevate the vibrations for everybody. It bypasses your mind, so your mind is not trying to understand what is being said. Although some people get the meaning of it sometimes,
mhm.
so that is something else that people can work with. And
Oh, I love this, because bypassing this is sabotaging logical mind that's there to protect us and keep us safe. But gosh, it just gets in the way, doesn't it? It holds us back so many ways. And what I love talking to you is that you're just normalizing all of this um, higher level stuff, which helps us bypass the mind, the fears, overcome the earthly blocks, shall we say?
Mhm. Well, I've been called a grounded spiritual, and or like my son likes to call me, is the rebel, the gentle rebel, because I don't want to do things like everybody else. Okay, you want to do it like with so many rituals, fine, but I'm too busy. I was too busy to do that. I didn't have time to do that. I had 4 kids, and at some point my mom was in the long-term care, and when you're cooking a meal for 10 people because you need to make the lunches for the next day. Well, I don't have time to sit for half an hour to meditate. So it was during I peeled my potatoes. And heaven forbid someone would come and ask me anything while I was doing that, because they didn't want to peel potatoes. So that's when I used to have my conversations with my guides and ask them
Oh,
for guidance and talk about them. Well, this is what happened today. And, I'm not at ease with that. So I really need help, and I need your guidance on that. Might not get the answer right away, but, then I would have clarity. I would always ask to be guided in my words and my actions, or be guided to the right person that would bring me the information that I need or the help that I need.
yeah, I love it. The gentle rebel. I'm going to call you the higher self queen. But I've got this visual of you peeling your potatoes, going, "Hey," you're just checking in and just saying, "Oh, what do you reckon?" And having a little conversation in your head, because you didn't have time. I've got 4 kids too, and I know how flat out you are when you've got the young kids and you don't have time. Sorry, I can't go into my meditative state and close the door and get in my pyramid. I'm too busy. It's just
Well, if I
watching
did that, I would fall asleep. So,
I know it's exhausting, exhausting. So today, as we were saying, it's all about talking about connecting with your consciousness and whatever, and that links in with my the clothing that I've put together. I've launched this empowered clothing range, and so linking the clothing in with chakras, because once again, everything is energy, color is energy, chakras are energy, and yeah, I've So we're linking in today with the crown chakra, which is, of course, around the top of the head, and it links in with the color purple, which I'm wearing, or it could be violet or white. And yeah, these clothes are made out of bamboo and they're just so luxe to wear, but it's you're dressing with intent, right? Because the whole ethos is where your attention goes, your energy flows. So imagine just stepping in your clothing, because every day you've got to get dressed. And so imagine, getting dressed more powerfully where you're utilizing your energy. So each of my tops come with a little crystal. So it's the amethyst crystal that links in with the crown chakra. And this helps calm the mind. It releases negative thought patterns, it enhances spiritual awareness. And, I'm a touchy feely person. So, like you've got your frequency pictures in your book. I've got like crystals that you can put into a pocket, or you can just touch and feel and just go calling in that calmness, that connection, that divine unity. It's like, whoa, it's super cool. So, yeah, what do you think about dressing with intent, Nicole?
This is one of the first things I was doing to work with my intuition, was to ask which color should I wear today for my highest good.
Right, right.
And then, it's just sometimes it was, it might sound silly. Sometimes it was just, okay, today you need to wear your red socks to really get grounded. I didn't know what was coming up for me during the day, but my guides, they know. So it's just like, okay, help me here. And I need to dress the part, but not the same part as, when you go for an interview or you go for a big party. It's just, you gotta, you bring that extra support to your life. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally, totally. So I also work with the sprays. I don't know, do you use the energy aura sprays at all?
I
Um,
have some other ones, but yeah, I love those sprays.
they're just such a beautiful tool to have in your toolbox to help, once again, working with your energy, change the frequency, bring it in, and the smells. Because some people are, touchy feely, some go by smell, some go by sight, touch, all that sort of thing. So yeah, so each of my clothing has empowering intentions on the front of them. So the long sleeve ones have, which I'm wearing today, is connecting love, light, and gratitude, because you're connecting to your higher self. You're being the beacon of love and light. You're connecting to positivity and gratitude, two of the highest universal manners. I like to call positivity and gratitude. We have please and thank you in this earthly plane, and gratitude on a higher level is just, it's the same sort of thing, having gratitude for what we do have. And I choose to be connected on the racerback. You can see that on the picture there. But yeah, it's about, dressing more powerfully. I like to call it conscious clothing. But because it's time to take everything up to another level. I think, the conversations that we're having, it's time to have these type of conversations, about our higher selves, and connecting in with, the angels, the guides, and even the dragons. Do you work much with the dragons at all?
Many years back, I worked a lot with one specific dragon, which is the one that is connected to me.
Mhm.
And she is very, very protective. And but she's still there when I need her. I mean, I call upon her and she comes, and will just set her foot down from time to time and say, okay.
Ah, and does your dragon have a name?
Yes, her name is Simersia.
Oh, right. I have Violetta, and she's a pink and purple kind of dragon. And my dragon's very nurturing, gives me lots and lots of hugs, sort of that, tapping into that, self love, self worth, that sort of thing, and sort of bringing me back down to ground. Because, like you, I'm a really busy person and get caught up in helping all these other people. And then, who's going to give me the love and support? So Violetta does that for me, which is really nurturing, just gorgeous.
Yeah. And I have a friend of mine, her dragon is, all fun and joy, because that's what she needed in her life. So,
Correct.
and doesn't mean that you'll always have. I'd like to point out that, sometimes you get connected to a guide, because this is something that happened to me. And yeah, you may have this guide for such a long time in your life, and suddenly you feel sad, like as if you lost someone, but you don't
Right.
understand why. And then I went into meditation and I asked why I wanted to cry. And I felt like somebody had passed away that I loved so much. And actually, I had a change in guides.
Oh,
So I was feeling the loss of this guide that I had grown up. I grew up with this guide. And I
yeah,
was like my mid 30s when this guide left. And it was a new one that came in. But she was so loving and caring. But it's just like I didn't recognize her energy as much.
yeah,
So it was just a question of sitting down and getting to recognize her energy. And she was loving and nurturing, but it was different because the other one had completed his assignment with me. It was to take me to a certain level, and from there, somebody else would, you know, take over. And then that's when she came in, and I started working with her. So those are things that happen also that we don't
mm,
always notice.
mm,
But for me, I noticed it because you can ask any questions. You can be like a kid and just say, I'm curious. I want to know. I want to know. If it's for you to know, you will find out.
yeah. Oh, that's so sad. It's like losing a best friend, right? Someone that's been your constant buddy, and then they've gone. And yeah, I could feel that sadness. It's like that would be really tricky. But yeah, it's so even in the spiritual plane, they come and go, right? Or our highly evolved beings or whatever, they come and go. And in there, what is it? A reason, a season, or a lifetime? People come into your life, or energies come into your life. So yeah, there for a purpose to guide you, and then they move on.
Yep. Well, they
Mm.
brought you where you needed to be, and their job is done.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And once we get it, you know what I've really loved about a conversation today is that you're making it not so scary. You're breaking down the barriers of working in the higher realms because it's not as scary or so far away. It's actually so close to us, and we can do it so easily. And I think that's what you've helped people realize is that it's all there. We just have to ask, right, and overcome any sort of fears that we've got.
We are that. We are it. We are all that.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
within us. It's just we weren't taught to tap into that. We were taught
correct.
not to look the other way because they didn't want us to be empowered.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you turn inward and you start looking at who you truly are and you discover how divine you are, and then
Mm,
you're becoming empowered more and more. And you don't
mm,
need to go outside of yourself to find love because you have all this love within you. And then you can irradiate that love. So you become love. As soon as you discover that you are light, you can
yeah.
begin to radiate this light. And because you just beam the light, you don't have to become light because you are already light.
Mm.
We don't become something else that we are already. We are.
It's as we started this show today was talking about it's all the inside job, and it's tapping into that love, like godliness, that unity, that collective, that the everything. We are it. And I've got to say, when I first got my head around it, it's like, oh my gosh, it was like a light bulb moment. It's not that difficult. It's just switching the mind into realizing we're all just part of one. Where it's the unity, it's the collectiveness, it's the collective consciousness, whatever. We're all part of this whole thing, and it's not out there; it's within us.
Yeah.
And
And that's
it's
that's one of the things that I work with my clients that do the program, the year-long program, Embrace Your Divine Power, is we go and clear all the old thought forms, patterns, or
mm,
everything that we've been collecting, and even from past lives, and clearing that to be able to connect deeply to your divine self and
mm,
to really tap into that divine energy and allowing yourself to be that divine energy and to realize that
yeah,
it was always there. And we've been looking, searching outside of us and trying to have somebody that will complete us or that's going to fill that
yeah,
void that we're feeling, that energy, that lack, I would say, not the void, because there's another word for void also. Um, Another meaning, but
yeah.
everything that lack that you feel within, then you learn to really tap into that's already within you. And I mean, I have such great compliments, and I have a lady, she was 76 years old when she worked with me, and she worked on things that when she was a young woman, and she just couldn't believe that those things were coming up.
Yeah.
But then, recently I heard from her, and she said to this day she still is so thrilled that she worked with me, because it has brought so much to her life.
Yeah.
So, that's this is a deep journey. It's a very personal and deep journey. That's why
Yeah.
this program I don't do in a group, because I asked my clients and they said no, they wouldn't share what they've shared with me one on one.
Yeah.
Because we go into very deep things, and we go into the real stuff.
Mm.
And sometimes I know it's a touchy thing, but I always call in the angelic mothers to come and help and to support this person, because those touchy subjects that just brings the tears up and all
Mm.
that.
Mm.
But it's always with a lot of love that it's done, so that person feels very safe to open up and to let go of those old stories.
Yeah, I'd love it, because when you do this deeper inside stuff, it brings up so much stuff, and it's not easy. I say to people, you got to roll your sleeves up and be prepared to get dirty, because there's so much hurt and pain that needs healing from stuff that's been there, cutting the cords with these old attachments, limiting beliefs, all the stuff that has been amplified in your life, and just it's like clearing out your closet, right? And it's just and there's stuff in there that you really have hidden in the closet for a long time for a reason, because you just didn't want to face it. But when you do face it and you come out the other side, I've got to say, how amazing do you feel? So much more at peace, and you feel free.
Yeah. And you discover who you truly are, and
Yeah,
that's what it is, and you
yeah.
discover your divine joy, your divine truth. So this is, it's a major win. I know there's a young man that worked with me, and he said, well, I called you to work with you and have a transformation, but heaven forbid would I thought it would be this deep.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
he's happy. He's so happy now because he feels liberated, and like
yeah,
every time it was like a whole big weight that was lifted from him.
yeah.
Same thing for everybody has their own journey, and it's not because one person lived something that is more major than what you lived.
Mm.
It
Oh,
can be a little thing, but it's possible that it did hurt you very deeply at the same time, because
oh.
there's something else that is there from a past life that is just, you know,
Still carrying on, still lingering, absolutely, I get it. Oh my gosh, we could have hours and hours of conversations about all of this. Nicole,
yep.
thank you so much. I have so thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. I could keep talking like this is the longest episode we've done so far, and, because it's such you're just breaking down the barriers where it's not so scary, to talk about this higher realm stuff, and how cathartic it is to clear a lot of when we're to clear a lot of the earthly plane stuff that's connecting us, that's burdening us, that's shackling us back, and stopping us from creating a more loving life for ourselves and relationship with ourselves as well. So I just think the more we can get out and talk about this sort of things, and I can totally see why your title is Oracle of Divine Transmission, because you are amazing, you are incredible, and you're just a normal person who talks in normal terms. It's just nothing too woo-woo. It's just how it is. You connect up with higher beings, and be guided by that and help people with that as well.
And they like to remind us that they're not walking before us, they're walking beside us.
Oh, I love that. Say that again. They're not walking in front of us, they're walking beside us. I love
Absolutely.
that. Oh, so we're always
If
to
they
hold
are in
on.
front of us, they might be opening the way for us, so it's just a little easier, but they're
Yeah.
usually beside us. They're our equals. We
Yeah.
always see them as much higher, but they're not. And
Yeah.
we have different expertise.
Absolutely. But it's like
Some of,
having a bestie that's always with you, right? And you just say, "Hey, buddy, what do you reckon? What should I
yeah,
do?"
and some of those guys, they find us very, very brave to incarnate on the earth, and they wouldn't do it. So they, you know,
Oh, I reckon for us to be living through what we're living, we've got big balls, is all I can say. So
Yeah.
on that note, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to just pop you down into the green room. I've thoroughly loved our discussions today, and I'll put the link to your book in, but I encourage everybody to go out and grab your book. It's on Amazon, and it's called Back to Love Again, A Giver's Guide to Reconnect with Your Inner Strength. Do you want to pop it up again? And yeah, so now I understand more about what it's about, and I'm looking forward to purchasing a copy and looking at the frequencies in there, because I'm visual. So Back to Love Again. I love it. So thank you so much, Nicole. Look forward to having you back on again down the track. And I'm just going to drop you down into the green room as we're just going to wind up the show, and look forward to seeing you again. So thank you very much for being
Thank you
here.
for having me. It was a great time.
Okay, alrighty, I'll pop you down. And yeah, so just to finish off, you can join me for another episode of Finding Your Way with Sally Estlin next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time and Thursday 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So that was just such a wonderful time having Nicole on today. It's just, I love these conversations. It's time that we start talking about deeper stuff that's not so scary, making it more normal, connecting into our higher realms, and chatting to our angels and guides, and the dragons as well. I don't know if you've ever come across dragons before, but it's time. It's time with this massive quantum shift that we're going through on the planet. It's time to really get out there. So, this was also about connecting in with your clothing, about conversations and things. So if you wanted, feel empowered and connecting with your crown chakra, wear the purple top. They're really cool. You can have a look at empoweredclothing.com.au. So that's about it from me for now, and I'm just going to bring up the rest of the video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. So I'll just drop myself down, and yeah, off we go. Joining me today. You can learn more about me, my Empowered Clothing, products and services at empoweredclothing.com.au. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sally Estlin, the Holistically Fit Specialist.